Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about some NBA trade rumors that have been pretty common throughout the last couple of weeks and that could happen ahead of the trade deadline. Now, if you guys don't know, the trade deadline is on the 25th of March, so just in a few days. Now, as you can see by this, the first player I'm going to cover is Lonzo Ball, and now Lonzo Ball has been in the news because his dad has basically said that Lonzo can't stay in New Orleans, and basically saying everything but he wants to stay there. So it seems like LeVar being father of the year again, as he's had many scenarios where he speaks out rather, I guess, loudly, and I feel like Lonzo, you feel bad for Lonzo because LeVar says all this stuff without really seeing what Lonzo thinks. But I think a trade could be fairly likely, and the reasons for that is Lonzo probably is playing the best basketball of his career, and also the Pelicans may not want to pay him because heading into free agency, you have teams like the Pistons that could just offer him like a 20 million a year, and all of a sudden that starts to put some limits on the team because they paid Steven Adams, and yeah, there could be some issues there. Now, the two rumors I've seen the most is Lonzo Ball to the Clippers and Lonzo Ball to the Knicks. Now, the Knicks, obviously, this trade is just giving up a couple young guys that aren't quite playing so well, and some second rounders just because of the nature of I guess if New Orleans want to dump him, they'll kind of, that probably is what the market for Lonzo is looking like. It's not exactly he's not exactly a superstar, but he can play a good role. And obviously for New York, the fit is that you get a point guard that can play make, do kind of very well rounded, and you can also defend very well. And you put him next to Emmanuel quickly, and you can get Derrick Rose off that six-man role that he was doing in Detroit. And you can see they might be able to build some stuff in the future. And then as for the Clippers deal, it'll just be Lou Williams, Patrick Patterson, and then 3 second rounders, just to make I guess that first of all, just to make the salaries match with the two guys that are getting sent to New Orleans, and the 3 second rounders are just some sort of compensation. Now, as I've said, I probably don't think this trade will happen. It's just one of those things where I think LaVar wants his son to be in a bigger market, and I don't really think that Lonzo wants to get traded is with his buddy Brandon Ingram and Josh Hart. So I think that he's still fairly happy to be there, and he can build a bit of history for himself in that city, which has had rather little success. Now, as you can see, the second player I'm going to talk about is LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, in 21 games this season, LaMarcus Aldridge is averaging 14 points and 5 rebounds in just under 26 minutes per game. So obviously, his stats look like they've taken a dip, but if you put the minutes back up, he should still be able to give you around 17 points and 6 rebounds, which could be very helpful for, I guess, some young teams on the brink of playoff success or a playoff berth. Now, LaMarcus Aldridge hasn't played since March the 2nd, when he and the Spurs agreed to, I guess, part ways mutually. So they've been trying to find a trade, obviously, with a buyout looking somewhat likely at this point due to no, I guess, substantial offers coming in. But I think that this $24 million expiring contract is very workable, and I think that I guess the Spurs probably want to get a bit too much back for him. I think once they get real with themselves, as harsh as that sounds, I think a trade can happen, and obviously they've committed now to splitting ways, so I think that get whatever you can back for him and just look to rebuild. Now, due to, I guess, the Hawks shopping John Collins, and if this is very dependent on that deal going through, but they can send Tony Snell, Solomon Hill, Chris Dunn, and then a 2021 second rounder to San Antonio in exchange for LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, this gives the rather young Hawks team a veteran presence, along with obviously Gallinari. But if you're the Hawks, you get a veteran guy who can help you, even if it's just for this season, and if not, you can put him on the bench, see what kind of role he can play, and who knows, maybe it's like a Millsap situation where they can kind of stay, it's a bit of a Millsap situation where they kind of take less of a role and become, that veteran guy on a up-and-coming team. That's obviously the Hawks aren't as good as the Nuggets were, but that's the kind of example of what this move would be. And then this deal would be centered around that second-round draft pick, and I guess Chris Dunn, you can kind of say Chris Dunn coming off the bench for the Spurs. Now, it also is worth noting that if he gets a buyout, I think that the Lakers are in play. I think that he would be willing to take a pay cut to go join the Lakers, and he also, another option is to go join the Nets because they kind of are still lacking that hype besides DeAndre Jordan. So that's something to think about. Now, the final player I'll be discussing in this video is John Collins. So John Collins was a 19th pick in the 2017 NBA draft, so he's been, it was a pretty good pickup for where he was selected, and it was kind of coming off that the kind of in between phase where they were not contending, but they were in the playoffs rather comfortably. I think that the Hawks wanting, or at least considering trading him, because they were rather open about it about a month ago, but I think now they're slowly edging back to not wanting to trade him. But I think that it's probably not the right decision, but I can understand that if they don't want to pay him and they want to maintain some cap space and they maybe don't like the fit with him and Trae Young, then that's fair enough. But they're having some success this season, so I think that it would make a more sense to actually keep John Collins around. And now this is probably one of the better returns they could get. So it's PJ Washington back, and also a first round pick and a second round pick. Obviously sending John Collins to Charlotte, so Charlotte add another young promising piece who can probably develop there with some more opportunity, and then the Hawks kind of get to press the reset button by bringing in PJ Washington, and for what it's worth, someone who's probably a bit more slightly better on the defensive end, and then also some draft picks. Now this is again due to their rookie scale and the cheap deal they're both on, it's probably going to be hard for them to find a great return for John Collins, but this is probably the best it would get. The Timberwolves were also, I guess, interested in bringing him and adding him to their core of players. Now, that's just a rumor going around, so it looks like at this point, if he gets dealt, it will be kind of to these teams with more younger players who they are happy to part with. But that's that, guys. If you like this video, make sure to share and subscribe, and until next time, peace out. Thanks for watching.